Hey guys, let's get started on this beautiful Phoenix look. I already prepped my face and I'm baking with the Laura Mercier translucent powder. So I'm starting off with the NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in the color Milk, and this is just going to make the eyeshadow pop once I start putting it on my neck. I'm just drawing triangles on my neck area to simulate feathers, and you just go from side to side drawing those in. Now I'm going to take the Sugar Pill Buttercupcake eyeshadow. It's one of their pressed shadows, and I'm using the Tarte brush from their holiday collection to pack the yellow eyeshadow on. And I'm just alternating from side to side on every other triangle. Now, I expected these eyeshadows to be a lot more pigmented. I originally started doing this tutorial without the Jumbo Eye Pencil, but the yellow did not show up on my skin at all. So I was a little bit disappointed with this color, but when I get to the orange color, it gets a little bit better. So I would just always recommend using a really bright eyeshadow base if you're going to be using the Sugar Pill shadows. Next, I'm using Flamepoint, also from Sugar Pill's pressed eyeshadows, and I had gotten the box the same week I did this video, so that's why I'm doing orange and yellow. It also works just in time for the American Thanksgiving. I'm Canadian, so my Thanksgiving's already passed, but you can turn yourself into a turkey with this as well. So I'm just packing that on same way I did the yellow, but on the opposite triangles. And I'm just using a flat shader brush just so I can pack it on more heavily. And all the information will be in the description box below on which products and brushes I used. So you're just going to keep repeating that motion of filling in the colors. And I found it easier than just coloring my whole neck white, because then I couldn't remember exactly where I was putting the shadows. I'd have to draw the triangles again. So then I start drawing the second row, and you're going to keep repeating this motion for as many rows as you want to add. It depends on how full you want the feathers to be. So you just fill in between the triangles you've drawn underneath in a diamond shape instead. And it doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to be great at drawing to fill in these areas, because you're going to be covering up the shadow and then outlining it later on. Next, I'm using my Morphe 350M palette, so that's the matte one, and I'm using the burnt red color in the bottom right hand corner. And as you guys know, these colors don't have names, so I'm not withholding information. There are no names for these. Just filling in each diamond with that red eyeshadow and packing it in with a shader brush. This brush I got at Pacific Mall many years ago in one of the hair stores. I find it's probably similar to the BH Rose Gold brush collection, just the eyeshadow brush in that one works just as good. So I taking my time, cause you have a dangerous right I'm telling you. Right now I'm targeting like I hit seeking missile. I just want to hit the bullseye right. Just filling that in, making sure the white eye pencil doesn't show up underneath. And then you continue that for the next couple of rows. So I drew in 3 more rows and I colored in the orange, the red, and the yellow again. Yes, I always dance while I'm doing my makeup. was listening to Bruno Mars at this point, I think. So now I'm dusting away with just a big fluffy brush, the Laura Mercier translucent powder. Now I'm going to add some dimension to my feathers. So I'm taking one of the darker browns in the bottom left-hand corner from my Morphe palette and just adding a little bit of shading on the sides of all of my red feathers. And the Morphe colors are pretty pigmented, so I found with the red I could use the brown without it all turning muddy. I just added a nice shadow. And then for the orange, I used the Real Girl from the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette. And for the yellow, to shade that, I used another soft ochre color from my Morphe 350M palette. So you can see there, it's still a bit yellow, but it has a bit of brown to it. So it gives it a nice shade and adds some dimension. So yes, I filled in the orange as I mentioned with the Real Girl to make those feathers pop. And clearly I'm using natural lighting, so that's why when I turn my head, the sun is on a different side of my face. So I apologize for that. Next, I'm taking the NYX white liquid liner. So it's not the felt tip, it's the actual brush. And I'm just outlining the individual feathers just at the bottom. So you don't want to draw all around it or else it'll look more like a clown neck piece. You just want to add that dimension. So you just take this and do this at the bottom of each row. So you can see there I didn't draw in every single diamond, I just did a V shape underneath the individual triangles and diamonds. Next I'm priming my eyes with the Too Faced Shadow Insurance, my favorite primer. And I put on a layer of the Buttercupcake eyeshadow, just pack that on with the same eyeshadow brush from the Tarte Holiday Collection. And obviously I do it on both eyes. Then I'm taking the Flamepoint eyeshadow again and packing that over that yellow color so it'll make it even brighter. And I'm winging it out, so I'm taking that shadow over onto the sides of my face, just past my eyebrow. And as mentioned in the beginning, my brows and face were already done. These are my natural brows actually. This is how they always look. They're just very, very thick. Now, in order to define my crease more, I'm taking the Venetian Red from the Anastasia Beverly Hills collection in the Modern Renaissance palette and just using a liner brush to carve out that crease. And I just blend that back and forth, but you don't want to overblend because you want that line to pop. Now I'm taking the Buttercupcake eyeshadow again and highlighting my brow bone. And then over top of that, I'm taking the color Primavera from the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette. Wow, that's a mouthful. And highlighting my inner corner. Now I'm taking my NYX white liquid liner again and drawing a wing on the top of both of my lids. I want that bumper, baby. I want you line it up, my gal. The way you want, the way you want, the way you want, gal. The way you want, you know you really blow my mind, gal. Wind back. take my NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil and highlight my waterline. And then I'm just taking the Real Girl eyeshadow from the Modern Renaissance and blending out my bottom lash line. And now I'm using my Bare Minerals Lash Domination Mascara, just adding a light coat since I'm going to be following up with some lashes in a minute. And now I'm using my Revlon Eye Art in Bijou Bling to create that sparkly cut crease. So you know, you always got to add a little sparkle. Next, I'm taking the Heiress eyelashes from Sugarpill. I pop those on off camera. And now here comes the fun part, contouring. So instead of doing the traditional cool tones or brown or taupe, I'm going in with brown from my Morphe palette, but also with the same burnt red color and the Real Girl dark orange color. And just blending that out. So you go back and forth and just blend that all over my face. I want to be really sharp since birds have beaks, so their faces are very pointy. And I'm taking that contour on the sides of my nose and dragging it up onto my forehead. Normally I wouldn't do this. Obviously, this is a costume look. It's not meant to be wearable. Unless, I mean, you're a bright, bold, birdie unicorn and that's the life you're living, so you do you. But obviously I can't just go to work or to the store like this. So I'm taking my time because you're about dangerous right now telling you. Right now I'm targeting like a heat-seeking missile. I just want to hit the bullseye, they light in the middle. Wine, with the red and the orange, and then adding some of that brown. Now I'm just using my finger to apply the Primavera from the Modern Renaissance palette, just to highlight my nose, my cheekbones, my Cupid's bow, as well as on my forehead. Now I'm taking my Jumbo Eye Pencil. Now this is kind of overkill. I'm drawing in feathers on my face just because I felt like the look wasn't really complete. And then I'm going to follow up with the Flamepoint eyeshadow and the Buttercupcake eyeshadow from Sugarpill. And then I'm also putting Flamepoint on my forehead to make my forehead look more narrow as well. Alright, and now I'm just adding that flame point onto my cheeks as well, just blending it into the orange I used, which was the Real Girl. And now I'm just making it pop a bit more, and then I'm going to fill in the other 4 feathers on my forehead with the Venetian red from the Modern Renaissance palette. And these shadows I was really impressed with because they glide on so smoothly and they were super pigmented. And this is my first Anastasia palette, so I'll definitely be purchasing more products. Now I'm just using that white liquid liner from NYX again to outline those feathers and add some definition. And I just really like how this white liner made things pop. If you're going out for a costume look, you want to go big or go home, basically. And I'm adding some of those lines where I've added the color on my forehead. I'm also going to add some on my cheeks. So it just gives that look of movement, like feathers or brushed hair. Now let's move on to the lips. I'm using Chestnut from MAC to outline my lips. And then I'm using the NARS matte lip pencil from the Sephora birthday present last year. I believe it's Cruella is the color. But again, I will put everything down in the description box. Now I'm patting some of the Flamepoint on there to make that red a bit more fiery. And now I'm putting Max Resort Life Lip Gelée over top. I think this is discontinued though. And that is the completed look. Now I'm just adding some Revlon, the other side of my eye art. So instead of Bijou Bling, the other side, which is not the glitter, is Burnished Bruni. And that creates the metallic lip. So I really hope you guys like this look. I enjoyed creating it. And if you want to see more looks like this, definitely like, comment, and subscribe, and give it a huge thumbs up. All right, see you in the next one, guys.